My name is Jelena, and I was 34 years old when the symptoms started. I had no idea what was causing them. I never would have thought that a year later I would be diagnosed with cancer. I don't blame my doctors or even myself for missing the signs. I was young, had no family history of cancer, never smoked, had been a vegetarian for over 13 years, and was in the best shape of my life, training to run a 13.3-mile race up to the top of a 14,000+ foot mountain. I thought I was doing everything right to be healthy and avoid getting cancer. My symptoms started in June of 2015 with a change in my gas. The usual smell had changed and they were much more potent. Then, occasionally, blood would accompany the gas. The gas was a regular thing, but the bleeding wasn't, so I wasn't too concerned. Then in February of 2016, when I went in for my annual physical, I mentioned these symptoms to my nurse practitioner, and since I wasn't actively experiencing the bleeding then, she said to give the office a call again when the bleeding started back up, if it did. Well, it didn't start again until May, and this time it was accompanied by diarrhea as well. Blood tests showed no food allergies, a gluten-free diet didn't really change anything, so I was sent in for a colonoscopy at the end of the month. I went in for the colonoscopy on May 23rd, 2016, and when I woke up, the doctor said that she found a mass in my rectum, and she took a biopsy of it and put a rush on that biopsy. Rush on the biopsy usually isn't good news, and that was indeed the case for me as well. 2 days later, I went back into the office and found out that the biopsy came back testing positive and I had rectal cancer. We had no idea how far it had spread though, because during the colonoscopy, you could only see what's immediately right there in your colon. The following week and a half or so, I went in for a CT scan, a rectal ultrasound, an MRI, and even a PET scan to see how far the disease had spread in my body. Once the results for all of those tests came back in, my oncologist officially diagnosed me with stage 3 rectal cancer, which meant the cancer originated in my rectum and had spread to lymph nodes nearby. My treatment plan involved 3 steps. Step 1 was radiation and oral chemotherapy. I would go into the cancer center Monday through Friday for 5.5 weeks, 28 days total, for pelvic radiation to try and shrink the tumor in my rectum. And on those days that I would go in for radiation, I would also take the oral chemo pill Xeloda in the morning and in the evening. After that completed, I would rest for approximately 3 months, and then I would go in for surgery. My surgery was called a lower anterior resection, and during that surgery, they took out 1 foot of my colon and rectum, as well as 17 lymph nodes, and they created an ileostomy to allow the resected side of my colon and rectum to heal. When the pathology results came back from my surgery, they discovered that of the 17 lymph nodes that they removed from me, 5 of them still had cancer active in them. So that meant I definitely needed to do additional chemotherapy. So I was on the books then 6 weeks after surgery to begin my first round of the IV chemotherapy FOLFOX. I started in mid-December and it continued all the way until the end of March 2017. Then I had a chance to rest again, to let my body heal, get strong again so that I could go in for my final surgery, which would be my ileostomy reversal. I went in for that ileostomy reversal surgery in June of 2017, and that was the end of treatment. It's now July 2021, and I've been cancer-free since treatment ended. I'm back to running regularly, but my pace is much slower than it used to be. I only have to go in twice a year now to see my oncologist, but I also have to go in for other tests like bone scans and mammograms now. I've traded my chemo and anti-nausea pills for hormone replacement therapy because cancer treatment put me into premature menopause. Every day I'm reminded that my body is and never will be the same as it was before cancer treatment. But I try not to let that get me too down. In fact, I am once again training for that 13.3-mile race to the top of Pikes Peak, which is 14,115 feet up. To follow me and see what I'm up to in life now, including how my training is going with that, you can follow me over on Instagram at colorado.jelena. To find out more about the most common symptoms of colorectal cancer, click on the video I did on that right up here. Or to find out more about what it's like to go through treatment for stage 3 rectal cancer, click on the playlist down here. Thank you for watching.